Welcome, everybody. I'm waiting for the live stream to push through. Aha. So I really hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and share this. It's such an honor to be here. Oh, hold on a second. I think we are... Hello, hello. Hold on a second. Very strange. Sorry about that. All right, so if you would like to share this live, please go ahead and share the live. We got a lot to talk about today. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. It's such an honor to be here with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to do the work and to reconnect with yourself and to do the necessary important changes in your life, the reconnection with yourself to heal, to transform, to expand. Tomorrow's energy is a very, very important day. Tomorrow's 11/11. But before that, before any of that, the entire phase that we're in right now, cosmically, there are some really, really heavy energies in this universe. Okay. And I'm receiving a lot of messages from a lot of people going through crisis moments, asking for help. And I want to remind you that this time right now is going to feel this way because of the cosmic movements that are occurring in the universe. There are major, it's transformational, it's pure transformational energy, pure transformational opportunity. And every time that we disconnect from ourselves, every time that we look external to the world, to the outside for confirmation, for validation, for a foundation of reality and strength, we will get lost. We will get lost and we will become disconnected. Our connection to our deep internal self, your body being a vessel, it is a vessel that connects and unites the heavens and the earth, the non-physical with the physical. And we need to constantly remember that. Our disconnect from our physical bodies, our disconnect from what we are, disconnect from who we are, is the biggest severing from this external reality. We exist in a holographic universe. And what we are projecting into this external reality is coming from your subconscious mind. There are many, many dualistic things that are occurring in this world. And the reason why conflicts, changes are occurring in the world, it's to train you as an organism of consciousness to be able to transcend this dualistic mind, separation, that we see things as one and the other away from ourselves or separate from us. So we need to dispel this illusion and we need to begin to understand the core fundamental laws of how this universe functions. This universe functions by your subconscious belief systems. The health and the nature of your physical body, the connection to your wellness, the connection to your intuition, the connection to your health, to the well-being of your mind, body, and soul, is actually the core foundation of what is being reflected in the world outside of you, regardless of the names of things or groups or the names of control groups that are in power or not in power. All of these things are going to, as usual, the human race through cycles of generations that we have gone through for millennia, going through elevated states of consciousness into lower states of consciousness. Remember that we're going through a cycle. But in any state that we have experienced collectively through the darkest, darkest shadows of consciousness in the history of man, the human that is connected to themselves, the human that remembers who they are, the human that remembers their power, is the human that transcends the limitations of all of these external constructs of belief, of power. And the reason for that is that we have to look beyond the construct that we exist in and the perceived limitations that might be available there. This time of great change and transformation is forcing you to go within, forcing you to meet the deep emotions that you feel that are causing conflict, that are causing fear, that are causing paralysis, feelings of disempowerment, feelings of loss of control. Because the only thing that we can control at this time is ourselves, period. Doesn't matter what is happening, doesn't matter who is happening, where is happening. And remember that all of the things that are happening in this universe right now are the refining of the human vessel on this planet Earth. We chose to incarnate on this planet Earth in order to experience this physical experience. And it's for you, the invitation for you to refine the mastery of yourself as a human in this physical body. Can you master this physical vessel that you are bringing infinite potential? You're streaming into this vessel, this fractal of yourself called Geraldine, called Jay Zen, JJ Black, Inga Nelly. Whoever you are embodying, you are actually the soul. You are the infinite potential that is pulling life force, that infinite potential into this physical body. How you anchor that life force into this realm will change your perception, change your experience, change what you see, how you see things, change what you are, the timelines that are available to you. If there is a law in this universe that is utmost important for us to remember, is that we create our reality. And this is something that we have to deeply, deeply understand. The laws of higher physics are available to you if you understand how to use them. If you understand that this body is a multidimensional vessel of co-creation that is charged with emotional life force based on how you balance the emotions in your body. If the emotions are completely overwhelming, out of connection and out of control, your life will be out of control. The experiences that happen will reflect that loss of control external to you. So remember that as we, as light workers, as seekers, are reconnecting and strengthening that reconnection to the awareness that we're infinite potential, that requires a courage of really breaking those strong emotions that might enter into your body. For whatever reason the emotions are happening, a lot of people are going through major crises because of this cosmic movements that are happening. But they don't happen randomly. They happen because the human has to look at what is the depths, the true depths of the shadow. What is the darkest part of this one belief system that you have not been able to shake your entire life? The belief system that is at the very back of your mind, that feels your personality, feels your desires, feels your intentions, feels your actions, your motivation or lack of motivation, that core belief system about yourself, about your power, about who you are, about what you are, that little belief system that you have there that has weakened over time has to be reinforced and reconnected. And it can only be done by sitting calmly in connection with yourself and cultivating the incredible potential that this organism of consciousness has. This human body that is so complex and so divinely designed is designed specifically for you to create reality. And from there, be of service to all those who you wish to connect with. So I want to remind you today about this power of our multidimensionality. And this is Self-Love Sundays, as you know. So today we reconnect and we remember the power of this multidimensionality, the power of this human body, the power of creation that is available through your body. Anytime that we begin to come into deep phases of disconnect, remember that this construct is driven by a lot of control of our primordial life force, our survival energy, our energy of sexuality, creation, and exchange, and our empowerment. Anytime that we feel disempowered, we fall into deep emotions of anger, of despair, of disconnect, we are very easily manipulated. This is part of the mind control programs that are existent in our reality. We become controlled. Our mind becomes controlled by an external factor that we cannot control. Whatever the circumstances having, the death of a person, the illness of something, the painful disconnects between friends, family, loved ones, changes in the world, wars, those painful external things that we cannot control. Remember that in a way, in the upper, bigger picture of things, things are operating at a certain harmonious balance. And we have to remember that. We have to remember that things are operating at a certain harmonious balance. The intelligence of the earth, just in itself, the planet Earth, the intelligence of self-organizing itself into harmony, regardless of the natural changes that are happening in the world, the earth is adapting, changing constantly, rebalancing. And so are the humans, which are the cells of this organism of the planet Earth. So every cell, every human on this planet Earth has an internal war within itself. And when it calms that war, it begins to contribute to this collective harmony of the collective. But there will always be these dualistic energies, always, in every aspect of your life. There is always a duality because this is the construct. And we have to actually, we have to begin to accept that. And we have to spiritually mature in order to be able to hold space for both things to be true. The paradox of things, the light and the shadow of things, to be able to hold space for these dualistic truths. This is the power and the strength of the new human. It is because, as we see in the history of the world, anytime we went on one end or another, we were deeply manipulated, changed, put into deeper subconscious control, deeper disempowerment, deeper disconnect. Okay? So the human now, we have to step up to the plate and be able to mature into the ability to hold space for these paradoxes that exist in this world, in everything. And we have to begin to look at our trauma in that way. We have to look at the way we feel about ourselves in that way, the perception of ourselves, the perception of things that are happening externally, fears, anxieties, all of these concepts, because the bridge of witnessing and holding space in the integration of the paradoxes that exist in the world is the bridge to unity. Okay? So if we are able to hold space for these aspects of ourselves, we actually can integrate. The integration means expanding your perception from the limited myopic perception of one truth being real or one aspect being better than another, into the ability to expand your consciousness, your perception, in order to be able to see whole systems. So everything that's happening in the world right now, in this current sacred timeline that we are in, is designed to push you into the training of what it means to embody a consciousness that perceives unity internally and externally. And this is kind of a call to action to all that are experiencing the depths of sorrow, sadness, deaths, changes. Everything is a change, and we are here in this planet Earth to experience change because we are natural organisms that participate in natural cycles. The laws and the construct of this universe are cycles of life and death, constant change, constant change. To be able to hold space for that constant change is the expansion of your multidimensional body, of your organism, into a state of masterful co-creation. So I would love to invite you to take the time. So we're going to go into a meditation right now, but we're going to go deep into these subconscious programs. And I want you to meet these dark parts of ourselves that are constantly in this inability to accept the paradox of things, to help us transcend into this unity state of seeing yourself. What happens in the multidimensional body when we begin to work with our energy in this way, when we begin to look at our trauma and to begin to expand that trauma from this, this one myopic perception of the things that you've experienced in your life, what happens is that the body begins to change. Let me open my PowerPoint here. I'm going to share with you about the multidimensional body, how it functions. Okay. How is everybody? Thank you so much. I am so happy to connect with you guys. And please feel free to put your questions in capital letters in the chat, and I'll be really happy to answer it. Tomorrow, I will be really, really excited to be connecting with a group of very special souls for the 1111 portal. And remember that these are energetically charged days. And as we've been looking at, this year has been just so many powerful days, days of transformation. But the important thing is that when we are entering these kinds of openings, your intentions for manifestation are the most important. How do you know what your intention is? That you have taken the time to get to know yourself. Okay. So if we are disconnected from ourselves, from our bodies, we're not going to know what we are wanting to manifest in our lives. Okay, let me just open this up really quickly, guys, and we're going to jump into it. Let's talk again about our cellular structure, okay? Here's what we need to remember that's really important. Your body, remember that your body has a feminine and a masculine aspect to itself. So inherently encoded inside of the structure of your body is the nature of this universe. The more we connect with our body, the more we connect with the natural cycles of the earth and the way that our bodies function, the more we understand and we uncover the hidden truths of this world and how it functions, how this system is so deeply interconnected. Your physical body, everything that is happening in your body is a reflection of the things that are happening external to us by resonance. So if we have a lot of internal suffering and pain in the body, we are in resonance with the wars, the suffering, the crimes that are occurring in the world around us. So in order to change that, we have to visit these parts of ourselves. We have to visit the pain that is in the body. We have to visit these belief systems that are encoded inside of the body, in that pain, in the physical parts, and begin to observe the dualistic nature of our belief systems that are there. We have to observe the part of us that has created the beliefs, and we have to observe the external element that has triggered those beliefs. So to be an alchemist, you have to understand your trigger, and you have to understand how to alchemize that. Every emotion that you feel in the body is loaded with information. There are layers and layers of emotions trapped in one single emotion that you feel in your body. Every layer of that emotion represents a vibrational frequency in a scale form of how you embedded that program emotionally inside of your body. So we can begin to alchemize these emotions in the body by sitting with them. Why? Because the awareness, remember how consciousness works? When you observe consciousness, it begins to change. It changes. Okay. This is a law of the universe. When you wake up consciousness, you become an observer, and your consciousness becomes proactive. It aligns with these natural cycles of transformation and change, which is what nature is. Nature is constantly changing, moving, evolving, transforming, transmuting. Never has anyone said eliminated. Notice that. Nothing is eliminated. The concept that things are finite, starting with time, starting with linear concepts of our existence, with ideas that things die and just don't exist anymore. That is a flawed way of thinking that blinds us from seeing the truth about everything. Relationships, experiences, internal aspects of ourselves that need to change, or internal aspects of ourselves that we feel we can't change. Finite thinking is always going to block you and limit you in your expansion. So I want you to begin to observe, how are we limiting our belief system? How has this finite belief systems of things being, things dying, things ending, and that's it, that being the end of things. The only thing that ever happens in this universe is transformation, transmutation. So we have to exercise this physical body to match that powerful flexibility, the powerful flexibility of changing and being able to hold space in the body for transformation, to hold space for the body for transmutation, which is why the bodies are bioelectrical, which is why this entire construct is bioelectrical. This holographic construct is designed in a constant state of bioelectricity, and the exchange of the energies of that bioelectricity, the positive and negative charges. But both of them are required in order to exist, to be able to create that tension from which form is manifested, from where a plethora of ranges of frequencies are created in order to create the contrast that creates matter. The human has to begin to understand and mature. No longer are we in a state where we can see things as separate, as better than another, as higher or lower than another. We need to see them as both, as all, from the bigger picture of things. Because your internal body, the way that your physical body functions, if you constantly exist in this dualistic nature, there will always be illness in your body. There will always be separation. There will always be fear. There will always be loneliness. There will always be disconnect. We have to make friends with the parts of ourselves that are deeply disconnected. And we need to look at the shadows of ourselves that we hate, that are disgusting to us, that we avoid, that we suppress, because the disconnect of those parts, in those parts lies your power, In those parts of you lie potential timelines of success, empowerment, health, vitality, transformation, your purpose. And we forget, we fall asleep and we fall into these hypnotic states of suffering and despair, when actually it's within the depths of those shadows that is your freedom. Because freedom is the alchemical marriage. Love is freedom. Love is freedom because love is unconditional, which means it includes all things inside and outside, in whatever form they might be taking, whatever frequency range they might exist in. The alchemical marriage of our feminine and masculine aspects of ourselves, the feminine and masculine represents the subconscious and the conscious, the known and the unknown. So look inside your body and notice, where do you have the greatest imbalance, in the feminine or masculine aspect of yourself? If we are coming from a wounded masculine, we might not be able to move in our life. We might be paralyzed. We might be depressed, confused, inability to move and take action in our lives. If we're coming from a wounded feminine, we might be manipulative. We might be holding on to these emotions that are suppressed in the body. We might be ridden with shame, guilt. So within those emotional parts of yourself, whatever the experience outside, remember, it is just an experience that must be transcended, because the experience is not you. You are not the experience. You are the infinite potential that manifests the experience based on a belief system, but that also, once you realize that, has the ability to transcend, to alchemize, to change, to shift, to move out of that timeline into another. Timelines are vortex points that are available from our body, because our body it's a frequency, it's a vortex. Okay? So this is where we have to begin to understand that this physical vessel, the more that we stay in one state, and every single emotion has dualistic natures. Every single emotion has feminine, masculine aspects to itself. How those emotions manifest in ourselves psychologically, mentally, bioelectrically, and physically in the body depend on how we have learned to manage and our flexibility of how we have worked with both the feminine and masculine within ourselves. The person that knows themselves deeply is the person that is aware of those dualistic aspects of every single emotional in the body. I was listening to an interview the other day when someone mentioned that when they were going through their healing journey, they went through the dictionary to look through all the emotions, and they began to realize how those emotions felt in the body. And it reminded me that I did the exact same thing. When I was first going through the emotions and I became aware that I did not understand what the emotion of peace felt like in my body, I began to realize there were many emotions that I was completely ignorant of. I didn't know what they felt like. I didn't know what they should really look like. I didn't know what they felt. And therefore, I literally sat with a list of emotions. And I have this somewhere on my website, and I invite you to do the same. Sit with each of these emotions. Within every single one of them it's a codex to the human subconscious library, because every single emotion helps us understand these dualistic aspects of ourselves. Anger. Have you ever explored the dualistic nature of anger? Have you ever explored those emotions? What do those feel like in your body? You might realize that you have many emotions stored in your body that you have not known about, that you've ignored, that you've suppressed, that you've forgotten. And guess what? When you connect to those emotions, it's going to open up memory. What are you doing? You're activating your DNA. Within each of the emotions, within the feminine and masculine elements of our DNA is encoded the information that's passed down through our father and mother lineage, which is how we hold feminine and masculine energy in the body. And each part of the cells in our body that holds the different information helps us access different ranges of information that are available to us. It connects us to different timelines through our DNA. DNA is holographic, DNA is spiral, DNA is a vortex, and it's a portal. It's a vortex, it's a portal that allows you to access the many dimensional ranges of your multidimensional body in order to recover fractals of yourself. Your access to fractals of yourself are available to you by understanding your triggers. Simply, what triggered you yesterday? What was the emotion that came up? If you understand and recognize that trigger, you're going to notice an entire library of emotions. Within those emotions are simultaneous timelines that are attached to those emotions. We don't realize how multidimensional we are. Every single emotion has multidimensional aspects of itself, libraries of information of yourself. And the more you develop your intuition and the more you develop your connection to your body, the more you're able to read that information. But at first, you might just look at the emotion, the immediate emotion. And then perhaps you might recognize that emotion in your childhood. Okay, that's another layer. When you begin to access memory of childhood, you're beginning to access your holographic DNA into the Akashic records. Okay, because the Akashic records is the DNA of the earth. It is what we access through primarily the 7th and 8th dimensional plane of our body. Okay, and every single one of the chakras are connected to the Akashic records. They are processing emotional data constantly in vivo, right? Which means in the now, in the live, in this moment. It's processing emotional data through the chakra system, and that information becomes stored in the body, depending on how it becomes stagnant. The more we repeat those emotions and reinforce them through the neural pathways in the brain, the more we crystallize that emotional construct inside of our energetic body, our emotional body. So remember that we are masters of solidifying and crystallizing survival emotions, fear-based, separation-based, helplessness, all of these lower dualistic nature of the emotional chart. Majority of you are masters. You know these emotions inside out. But how many of you know the other aspect of those emotions? Deep internal peace, the ranges of peace, harmony, integration, connection, love, peace, joy, happiness. It's almost as if we have a million adjectives for the negative emotions, but we don't even have that many adjectives, and we're not even familiar with the emotional ranges of the higher vibrational experiences. So we have to exercise that muscle, and this is how you create heaven on earth. This is how you anchor infinite potential into the earth, because right now in your body, depending on how you're holding emotions, you are participating to the imbalance of these things internally. Now, in the bigger picture, your imbalance is part of a bigger balance. Okay? So remember that the intelligence of this universe is such that if you would calculate all of the imbalances in this human universe, they're still creating some kind of self-organized intelligence harmony. There is just as much balance as there is imbalance. That is the new dualistic nature. If there was more of one than the other, this system would deconstruct. It would implode upon itself. So we have to understand that in the nature of this construct, there is a self-organized beauty, and that is what we can relate to as this godlike potential, the godlike potential of an intelligence that is far more, it's the wisdom of nature, this harmonizing, self-organizing system that maintains a balance beyond what our little minds can conceive or limit or feel or think. There is a much larger organizing intelligence to this system. So within our physical bodies, as we feel these emotions, as we feel these things, please understand that there is always a greater harmony. And therefore, don't get overwhelmed with the temporary emotions that are happening for you in that moment. Don't get entangled emotionally into the things that are causing these emotions externally, because they are extremely temporary in the bigger picture. And we have to wake up from the mind control of the external in order to understand the sovereignty that this human has of co-creation. When the human begins to reconnect with the internal universe, this is where we begin to balance. All of these creative life forces that are potential in the body, we can begin to balance them. When we find internal harmony, we become pure creator. We become pure creation potential. That is a law of the universe. What does that look like? Your body is healthy, it's thriving, your emotions are balanced, your emotions are grounded in truth. What is truth? The ability to move through constant change, the ability to sustain, the ability to move that constant exchange. It's like we have a spiritual athleticism that allows us to move, emotional athleticism, to move through deep emotions, high emotions, and still sustain the 0 point of state of non-judgment, which is from where actual pure love emerges, because pure love is the ability to experience all. We have this false concept that love is just a high vibration emotion. In order for you to know love, you have to know deep, deep, dark emotions. You cannot know love if you don't know the deep, dark emotions. You cannot know love if you don't know pain. You cannot know it. So this is where we have to begin to dispel this constant idea that, being a high vibrational being is just constantly happy or joyful, or everything's great and everything around the world is agreeing with us and moving along. That's not the way this world works. We make the 0 point internally. And however many of you want to hold space for that internal 0 point, what will happen eventually as the human race learns this, because we are very young. We are a very young human race. And you also have to remember that it's the same way that we condemn our parents for not knowing how to raise us or give us love or compassion or be there for us emotionally. We're condemning this human race, but this human race is barely learning. It's barely waking up consciousness. Yes, we've gotten very far. We've gotten very far from this timeline. And remember that we're existing in simultaneous timelines. And it's from those simultaneous timelines that many of you that are tapped into your multidimensionality have the ability of tapping in to the wisdom, to the failure of certain timelines, and learn from them, to the wisdom of timelines that have succeeded or advanced, very, very advanced civilizations. Right? You guys have access to those advanced civilizations through your connections, your starseed lineages, which are encoded in your DNA, because you are the universe. Your access to these higher octaves of information are meant to provide you a guideline to the potential that is available. But as well as we have that access, we have the access to these lower timelines. So as we go through these waves, You know, we remember the Inquisition. We remember the times that the witches were burned at the stake. We remember when books were being burned and thrown away of wisdom, of deep, important information about how this nature of the human body functions because of fear, because of separation. We cannot go back to that timeline again because we have to learn from those experiences. So what changes now is that the wisdom is of this future timeline is the mastery of the non-physical, the integration of the non-physical, the marriage between the non-physical and the physical into the present moment, where you combine these two worlds inside of you. And you become the embodiment of those both worlds, that when you see the world, you also see the energy. You also understand and are responsible for your life force and how it's being directed in this world, that you understand the cause and effect of your life force, the impact of your emotions. Every emotion is pure creation. Emotions are bioelectrical charges that are charging this system. They are charging the entire construct of this system, how it's moving, the vibrational frequency in which you are oscillating at is helping this construct move. So if we exist in this constant state of duality, rather than being able to move through both, we become blinded to major aspects of ourselves. And remember that when you expand your emotional perception, when you begin to observe the other and you put yourself in the other's shoes, this is important for growth. It's important for development. But it's only when you begin to embody this other aspect of yourself that you can see truth. And that inherently grows the multidimensional body. Why? Because your multidimensional body is made of layers of frequency that are intermeshing, moving in and out. It's a plasmic field. It's made, actually what it really looks like is like a membrane, okay? What it really looks like is like a membrane. It's very hard to describe what it looks like. It's a membrane made of a bioelectrical membrane made of organic, invisible matter, okay, until you develop your vision, your ability to see it. Those of you that begin by looking at lights and colors, you're looking at a certain range of information or frequency within the construct of this membrane, which is this invisible, self-organizing network of information that is your multidimensional body. So some of you see, feel, and sense through your emotions, through your feelings, through your taste, through your hearing, through feeling in the body. All of those are tuning in because of this membrane that is multidimensional. The main membrane is accessed through all the ranges of frequency that are available to the human. So when you begin to tap into your energetic body and you begin to notice how those emotions are flowing in the body, you're tapping into entire networks of information. Stored within these networks of information are essentially, one moment, stored within these networks of information is obviously, it's your DNA that's being activated. So your DNA looks like this. If your DNA were to be holographically projected, this is what we would see. We would see a self-organizing system, which is spherical, okay, spherical. And within this spherical construct, it's organized by frequency ranges that are within layers and layers of vibrational frequency. It's self-organizing the information into order. from lowest to highest. And yet every single layer that participates in that specific frequency is also have another sub-level of organizing frequencies from lowest to highest. And again, deeper within that dimension, one of those strands of frequency is holding another self-organized system. This is the fractal nature of this universe. That's why within you, you have the universe. That's not just a concept. It's biologically, bioelectrically, the universe is within the quantum level of your physical body. Every single one of these aspects of yourself is encoded within these layers, deeply, deeply organized, beautifully organized, until we get to a subatomic level and even more levels that the majority of us are not even familiar with. But that is the quantum field, and even beyond that. So micro and macro within your physical body is the fractal image of this entire universe. And when we say universe, we're not talking really about planets. We're talking about dimensional planes of consciousness. So your physical body has access to all of this, and your body as a whole is storing the memories of everything that you have been in all of your quote unquote past lives, what I call simultaneous lives and future lives. So this is where we begin to access these layers of information. They are available to you. When you begin to feel one emotion yesterday, anger, and you begin to remember, oh my God, I'm feeling this anger all my life. I'm feeling this anger. It goes into my, adolescence. It goes into my childhood. It goes into the womb. Okay, and who made us feel that way? Let's say it was the father. Okay, so this is where we have the imbalance in the masculine aspect of our perception, how we hold the masculine. The emotion is going to tell you whether you are very contracted or expanded. The way that you hold the emotion, remember, every single emotion has a dualistic nature. What does that mean? It talks about the level of expansion and contraction that emotion holds within it. Every single thing in this universe is expanding and contracting because of the nature of this construct. And again, at the atomic, subatomic level, things are also contracting and expanding in you. The bigger picture is that there is a harmony with all these things, with all these different layers. So within this structure of your multidimensionality, you have both you have both contracting and expanding energy. Contracting and expanding life force, belief systems. We are at the center of that. You are the 0 point. How do you access this information? Is that you embody the 0 point. The 0 point allows you to access and open yourself up to all of the information that is available within your subconscious mind. All of these layers of your body are organized within this feminine masculine energy. The feminine represents the subconscious mind. The masculine represents the conscious mind. So we have to dive into these layers of ourselves to begin to alchemize it. What does it mean to alchemize? To expand your perception of that experience. Expand your perception. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Begin to put yourself in all the people's shoes that were there so that you can begin to understand different ways of looking at your experiences so that you can begin to learn, emotionally expand. This is that emotional athleticism that we're talking about. Begin to expand in your range of understanding emotions and perceptions and ways of seeing things. You exist at the center. You are the pure creator. The more you learn about the different ways of seeing and being, the more you expand, the more you activate your memory, the more you expand. And guess what? Bioelectrically, that emotional athleticism will help you cultivate an incredibly strong energetic field. Whatever emotion you're feeling, you can interrupt and choose a different emotion at any time. Anytime. That is the alchemist. It's important to feel the emotion to get the information, but you have to be able to alchemize the emotion into a higher one, because connected to each emotion are, as you can see here, many timelines that are available to you. So we can change what we experience externally by tapping into those potential timelines. That's how you change what's occurring, okay? If we want to see more harmony in this world, we have to embody harmony now. It is not a time to continue to get lost in unconscious states of these profound emotions without understanding how to use emotion properly. Emotions are temporary. Emotions are not meant to be felt a long time. If we feel an emotion and we sustain the emotion in the body for a long time, we fell asleep. That's the sign that you fell asleep halfway through. You fell into hypnosis. You forgot yourself. When you forget yourself, you have no ability to access free will. Your free will is available to you when you begin to embody your presence in your body. The presence in the body allows you come into this body, come back into this body, love this body, accept this body, accept yourself. From here, you're going to begin to cultivate that ability to see the things outside of you from a way that it can be more productive, more creative. Think of creativity rather than the word productive. Think of creation. When your body is in a centrifugal movement of depletion, how do you deplete? Feel emotions a long time. That's how you deplete. Be stuck in belief systems a long time. Be stuck in one construct a long time. We are not designed to exist in duality for a long time before we self-destruct. Whatever it is outside of you that is telling you to pick one side or be one thing or look like one thing or think one way is designed to destruct the human nature. Nature does not operate in one way. It operates in both and in all. So we begin to dispel this concept of disconnect, and the centripetal movement is the focus of this human back to itself. Come back to the basics. This is where you begin to come into the present moment, acknowledge your emotions every single moment, feel them fully, get what's information that's needed, and keep moving, because the death of humanity lies in the stagnation of these emotions. And remember that many things in this system are so well educated about how we function emotionally, okay? Shadow governments of this system, these darker elements of these systems know you better than you know yourself. This is why mind control works in the way it was. This is why the entire entertainment industry was designed. This is why the entire marketing industry was designed, why the entire pharmaceutical industry was designed, based on the ignorance of humanity and the way that they function. So at this point, we have to re-educate and remember the basics of how we function. And we have to biohack this physical body, because you are a bioelectrical, biochemical organism, deeply interconnected. Your emotions are the most important because they are the charge of creation. And these systems know that. So the question is, are you going to allow your body to be polluted with emotions for a long time? Or are you going to proactively use these emotions, feel them fully, get the information, and make the changes necessary in your life right here, right now, with yourself first, so that you become an example of this new world that we want to exist in? But I want to remind you that because this is the third dimension, there will always be duality. And we have to get used to that. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of the 0 point. The 0 point is not for us to live in constant ecstasy and orgasms all day. The orgasm, that orgasmic state of reunification, what is that? What happens when you feel that? You become all and nothing simultaneously. How can you become all if we're constantly trying to pick the parts that we don't want? Impossible. And you will not be able to feel this state of constant bliss if you don't learn how to transcend your rejection and the separation that you want to feel to the things that are negative, perceived as negative. Negative. We are all of it. So it's extremely important that we as a human race mature to the point where we're beginning to understand the ability to see these dichotomies that are happening in the world, these internally, to see the paradox of things, and to be able to hold space for both internally and externally. Internally first, because it's going to be the hardest part. Everything that you judge externally exists within you. Period. Everything that you judge externally exists within you. So if we're sitting judging anything, any one thing, I want you to sit with that judgment, especially during these last month of the year, because as we are moving into this new phase, those judgments might become stronger. There might be more polarity in this world. And the design and the invitation for that reason is for us to alchemize that judgment that we have. These very immature concepts that there is a separation. Whatever it is that you're judging, whatever it is, you have it within you. Whether it's the murderer, whatever drove the murderer to kill something, you have that little aspect within you. You have that seed. You have that belief in you. You have the idea. It's very simple. It's within you. So begin to see that within each of these dark shadow things that we judge from the external, at the very core of those things is a little child. We are all little children. But we keep having these concepts, that there's some kind of hierarchy of maturity, of power, when we don't even know what that is. We've never learned it yet. We've never learned power. True power is to advocate for all things. I've not met very many humans that exist in that power state. True love is the ability to see all things. Okay, so let's get into the meditation. Inga, thank you so much for that super chat. Love you. Thank you so much. It is so wonderful. Your support means a lot to me. Okay, go ahead and put your questions in capital letters. I'm going to stop it right here. We're going to jump into the meditation, and then we're going to answer questions. Okay? Love you so much, guys. Please come into your calm state. ground yourself, come into your body. You're going to take a nice deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale down to the spine. Begin to feel your body. Begin to feel the space around your body. Go ahead and ground yourself down to the center of the earth. Take a moment to visualize the movement of the planet and feel the movement of the planet through your body. Feel the earth through your body so that you can begin to align back into the rhythms of nature, the circadian rhythms of nature that are available to you at any time. You can either go to a forest and get this, or you can do it here now. Allow yourself to bring yourself into alignment with these natural cycles. Come into as much stillness as possible. Inhaling deeply and exhaling. Go ahead and visualize the sphere around your body. Begin to tune into your bodies. Make that bubble whole. Notice where the bubble is missing spaces. Notice if the back of your body is completely unconscious and disconnected. It'll be hard for you to see the bubble behind you if you are unaware of this part of your body. But remember, the part of the body is the part of our psyche, and it's also the part of our emotions. It's the part of our unknown parts of us that we've either rejected, neglected, suppressed, ignored. So whatever part of the bubble you can't see, those are the parts of yourself that you have rejected, neglected, suppressed. So right now we're going to make our bubble solid all around us. You are inside of the sphere. The sphere is a representation of all of your bodies that are around you. Whatever opening and tear, whatever leak of energy we have in the many 13 layers of our body are demonstrating themselves in this one bubble around you. Go ahead and focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Shrink that root chakra down to the size of a dime, allowing you to see clearly any imbalances within the root. Go up into the sacral, shrink your sacral chakra down to the size of a dime. Notice what changes in the body. Notice how you become more calm, more aware of what's happening in your body. Go up into the solar plexus. Go ahead and shrink your solar plexus down to the size of a dime. You're going to go up into your heart. Go ahead and expand your heart, front and back. Go up into your throat, expanding your throat, front and back. Go up into your third eye, expanding your third eye, front and back. We're going to go up into the crown, expanding the crown chakra. Remember, the crown chakra is your higher self. It's a relationship with your higher self. If this is dormant, if this is asleep, if this is paralyzed, stagnant, chances are you're disconnected from your higher self. You're not in communication. You're not in connection. Go up into your eighth. Your eighth is a relationship with source. If this is dormant and disconnected, chances are you're disconnected from your connection to source. Expand into that. You're expanding spheres of your body. So the body of your higher self is a sphere around your body. If that's what's most expanded, that's going to be the filter of your perception in your life. That's what we want. I want you to select a color that represents the most healing frequency for your body right here, right now. What color is that? Go ahead and pick that color. I'm going to ask you to share your color at the end, so remember it. I want you to pull from the center of the earth this color, a frequency that is unique to your healing. I want you to pull it up into your feet, as if your feet were vacuums, as if they were suction cups. Absorb from the earth this healing color up your shins, your calves, your knees, your thighs. Go up into your solar plexus, pull it up into the solar plexus of your body. From source, go ahead and pull down cosmic energy down from the crown of your head, down your spine, combining with this healing energy at your center core. Let's go ahead and take 10% of that back down to the center of the earth, bringing cosmic energy in through your body and into the earth. You're healing the earth. Your greater body. The earth is your greater body. It's an extension of you. You are not separate from the earth. Whatever you heal in your body, you're healing in the planet Earth. The earth is a holographic projection of your body. So we bring cosmic energy in through the body into the earth. The earth is as conscious and as alive as we are. It is going through its growth, its maturing, its transformation, just like we are. Go ahead and take 80% of this combination up your spine, from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your bubble. Go ahead and see your healing color and this cosmic energy coating the outside of your bubble. You are clearing the debris, your entanglements, your cords, your attachments to the matrix. The matrix represents this holographic construct that we call life. Each individual has their own construct that they've created, and collectively we contribute to a collective construct. However, each human creates their own reality within this construct, their own experience. Going to take the final 10% of that healing energy and gold cosmic energy up your spine. From the crown of your head, you're going to infuse the inside of your bubble. Feel that energy entering into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of the body, transforming any death into life. We're going to begin to nourish the brain, infuse the brain. Make your brain smile. Infuse your face, make your face smile, your eyes smile. Your breathing system smile. The vagus nerve smile. The chest smile, the lungs smile. Feel that smile with your whole body. Go down into your stomach, make your stomach smile. Your liver, your spleen. Feel in your body the smile. Feel the emotions that it makes you feel, the sensations, the charge that it creates in your body. Feel that. Be mindful of your breath. Anytime you try to contract your energy, you are in control, you're controlling. So let go of that need for control. Maintain your breath easy and fluid. Let's go down into the intestines now. Make your intestines smile. Let's go down into the sexual organs. Let's go down into our thighs, into our knees, our shins, calves, feet. Down into your feet. Now that you're here, I want you to begin to observe yourself over the past 24 hours. What is the emotion that you most came into in the past 24 hours? Take a look at yourself. Be absolutely present with that emotion. As you identify the strongest emotion, be absolutely present with that emotion in your body. Notice the emotion that comes up and name them out in your mind. Go ahead and select the strongest of those emotions. Let's go ahead and follow this emotion back and take a look at the last time that you felt that emotion. Let's go back to the very first time that you felt this emotion. So begin to observe this experience, begin to see yourself, who you're with, how you're feeling. Focus on your emotions. Name out the emotions that you're feeling in that moment. Go ahead and select the strongest of those emotions. Find in your body where you are storing that emotion. Be absolutely present. And that emotion will intensify in your body in order for you to access the emotional memory of it. Go ahead and name out the emotions that are coming up. Go ahead and ask yourself, what is it that you need in order to no longer feel this way? What are the needs of that deep self? So begin to observe these needs that are needed to be met. Go ahead and ask yourself, what do you need to meet them? So begin to observe these emotions. Let yourself acknowledge what you need in order to embody this in your everyday life. Begin to observe yourself in your current life now. How are you repeating this same dynamic, this same pattern in this lifetime? You might also notice that whoever is part of this experience also has the same resonance to you, the same core beliefs. Allow yourself to infuse yourself with everything that you require in this moment, and see all your fractals of yourself from the womb until now that have repeated this program. Infuse them with it. See all your fractals merging into one. Go ahead and inhale deeply, taking it back into your body. Very good. As you begin to integrate these parts of you into your body, focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and open that root chakra back into a balanced state. I want you to shine a powerful golden light on the root chakra, clearing out the debris. You're going to visualize that you're clearing out all 13 dimensional layers of root energy that are stagnant in the body. Clear them out. Begin to notice the health of your chakras. Make sure they are open, moving, spinning, not stagnant, not slow, not paralyzed or contracted. They're open about 6 inches wide, front and back, and they're moving fluidly. Go up into your sacral. Go ahead and open the sacral chakra back into a balanced state. Same thing, clear your body. Go up into the solar plexus, same thing. Open up, clear your body. Go up into the third eye. Here in the third eye, I want you to focus on clearing any debris that you feel in the back of your body. As you are more clear now what you need to manifest, what you intend to bring and anchor into your life, begin to observe. Go up into your 7th chakra and 8th. Activate your crown. You're going to align this with all areas of your life, including your career, abundance, love, consciousness, joy, harmony, success. You're going to see a pie chart in your crown chakra. Go ahead and illuminate this chakra with your creative color. Okay, go up into your 8th. Activate the 9th. You're going to take these 3 chakras, 7th, 8th, and 9th. You're going to shine them on top of all of your karmic contracts, all the agreements that you've made to learn and experience in this lifetime through karma. You're going to eliminate them. You're going to replace all of those deleted contracts. You're going to replace it with the light of your crown chakra. As we intend to learn these lessons through our higher self, through peace, through harmony, rather than suffering and pain. Open to the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, 13th. And above you is a powerful white light of source. Go ahead and anchor that white light down into your body, down into the perineum, into the center of the earth. Make sure your back is nice and straight, opening up the channels of life force. I want you to breathe deeply, inhaling that primordial life force at the base of your spine, in the perineum. You're going to inhale, pulling that energy up your spine into the pineal gland. You're going to let that energy fall over the front of your body and reconnect again with the pineal, with the perineum, creating a full circle of energy through your body. And as you breathe deeply, pulling up the energy again and down the front of the body, you will very clearly notice where your energy is stagnant, in the right or the left, in the lower part of the body or the upper part of the body. What areas feel stagnant and incapable of letting that energy fluidly move through? Excellent. Just allow yourself to do that 3 times. And you're going to open your eyes, and with your eyes open as you come back into the present moment, allow yourself, with your eyes open, to begin to see your surroundings, sustaining the awareness of your multidimensional body, sustaining your grounding, sustaining the bubble around your body, the awareness of your body. Remember that everything inside of this bubble is what you can control. You cannot control anything external. Everything that happens external comes on the outside, slides off. This is what you can control. This is your center point of creation. This is your job. So if we want to contribute as parents, as lovers, as friends, as social beings, this is where you will emanate from here, the embodiment of truth, the ability to hold space for these dualistic aspects of your own nature, and train to embody that still point. Okay? So today, allow yourself to be grounded in your body. Grounding means being fully present in your body. Don't fall asleep throughout the week, the day, the minutes. Have your phone set your alarm clock throughout the days. Wake yourself back up. Come back into your body. Come back into the present moment. And keep going like this in a very loving, compassionate manner. And I want you to fill your body with love. Fill your body with gratitude. You can literally hold your arms and hug yourself and feel absolute acceptance for this body. Absolute appreciation, love, compassion. Compassion is the maturity of how you hold your emotions. That's true compassion for yourself. Okay? And also how you are expressing yourself, how you are depleting your energy or utilizing it creatively. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It was such an honor to be able to connect with you today. Let me see if there's some questions. Thank you guys so much for joining me and for your super chats. Love you so much. That really supports me. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Let's come into the questions here. So many people. Wonderful to see you. Brave Seal. Lauren, your meditations are so alchemical. I did one a couple nights ago and had such a dark dream after so many light dreams. However, I feel it's good to see the duality between as I choose to rise above. Yeah, you know, it's really just allow what has to come through. You see, our dream time is the most important. Our dream work, it really is like dream work. You know, you are doing a lot more work in dream time than we are in waking state for the majority of us, because not many of us are constantly awake in the present moment. We tend to fall asleep a lot throughout our day. In the dream state, you're actually navigating many planes of yourself, and you're becoming aware of your karmic entanglement in many simultaneous dimensions. So for you to become lucid in those dreams and begin to take hold of your free will in those dimensional states, in those experiences, that's important for your soul development. So, you know, you might be visiting past lives, you might be visiting future lives, and you might experience things that are challenging. You still have to alchemize in those dream states the exact same way you do in your waking state. So, you know, there is no good and no bad. That's something that we need to take away from our mentality. It's very there's creative and counter creative things that or lack of creation, stagnation, perhaps I should say, right? It's that centrifugal and centripetal energy. That's really what we're doing, right? So maybe we can ask yourself, is it centripetal or is it centrifugal? Is it depleting or is it life-giving? Is it nourishing? Okay, so think of it that way rather than good and bad, okay? Can't manipulation occur either in masculine or feminine? Absolutely, yes. But there are certain traits that are inherent to the wounded feminine and masculine, okay? So I invite you, let me see if I have that available here. If I do, I'll show it to you. But the manipulative trait, because creation is part of the feminine life force potential, when we abuse of our creativity and we want to impose and control through manipulation, it's the misuse of our creative life force. So that would be the feminine. Yes, it's in both. You will see both men and women will do it. Both feminine, masculine energies will do it. We're talking about the core, primary, archetypal expression of the feminine and masculine when it comes into this duality. I'm not finding it. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it in another one of my. Bear with me here for just a minute. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, and so I invite you to get familiar with this. I mean, all of this work, these are things that I discovered just through my meditation, through doing this shadow work, through doing the emotional healing. That's how I began to become aware of the dualities of the emotions, because I began to see them in myself and I also saw them in others. Okay, so when we begin to recognize, especially in ourselves through our internal work, this is where we begin to see the bigger picture. So this is a good example of that. And you'll be able to kind of see here, okay? And connect with this list intuitively. And just notice how it fits in your perception, the way that you see and hold energy, okay? So this is a good little chart. You can do a screenshot of this. And you can access that information and replay this again. Thank you so much, Lauren. Much love to you. Trevor, welcome. Antonio, great to see you. JJ Black, Jay Zen, Pono, welcome. So good to see you. James, peace, not within my experience. What does peace feel like, Geraldine? Yes, well, that's exactly right. You know, and I think peace is something that we have to really sit with that emotion. What does that mean? So if you simply sit with the name of peace, for example, first of all, let me show you another way. What is the opposite of peace to you? Okay. So if the opposite of peace to you is anxiety, stress, okay, sit with anxiety, name out those emotions, make a list of those emotions. And then on the other side of the paper, put directly the opposite of each of those emotions. Okay, so the opposite of anxiety, what is that? Okay, maybe it's like harmony. Fear, what's the opposite of fear? What's the opposite of anger? What's the opposite of stress, or whatever words? Make a list. Feel that emotion in your body, make a list, and then make a list of the opposite, the exact opposite of those emotions. Use your intuition to tune into what they are. And then you're going to sit with this new list of emotions, the positive emotions, the opposite of those emotions. Okay. So for example, harmony, for example, love, for example, connection, communication, whatever it is, allow yourself to notice that. You're going to sit and feel each one of those emotions. And guess what you're going to be feeling? Okay. You're going to discover what peace is to you and how to access it. This is how you reprogram the nervous system and the emotional subconscious programming system of the way that you feel these emotions. Okay. So yeah, try that out and report back. Let us know how that works. Angela, so great to see you. Inga. Oh, Angela says seafoam green. Excellent. What was your healing color, guys? I want to hear that. I really want to see that. Put that in the chat. Inga says, Dear Geraldine, during meditation, I'm having pain in my spine. Why might that be? I have any trouble with spine. So you don't have trouble with spine. Well, so as I mentioned before, any pain in our body is telling us, it's telling us that we've neglected certain parts of ourselves. Okay. So please sit with the pain. Same way that we were looking at what peace is. Sit with the pain. If that pain had an emotion, if it were an emotion, what emotion would it be? Let's say that it's a pinching pain. What does pinching feel like? Annoyance, stress, anxiety. Take a look at those emotions, unpack those emotions, make a list. Okay. The strongest of those emotions of your list is going to tell you what is the subconscious emotion that's trapped there. Okay. If you hold on to that emotion and you begin to take yourself back, when was the last time? Yesterday? How about before that? Last week? How about before that? Last month? How about before that? 10 years ago? Okay. How about before that? When I was 3 years old? Okay. What was happening? Take a look at these history of events where you keep holding that. You're going to notice it's a reoccurring emotion, and I want you to identify the trigger, and I want you to get very familiar with the trigger that causes that emotion. Within the trigger that causes the emotion is your freedom. Okay. If you know what the trigger is, and you begin to unpack the emotions, and you begin to address and list the opposite of those emotions, you begin to become very familiar with the opposite of those emotions. Now you have a formula how to alchemize this emotion, this pain. So how to heal the pain is feeling those opposite emotions of your list. That's deprogramming. Okay. So whatever emotions come up, I don't know, connection, stillness, surrender, whatever emotions those are, whatever they are, you're going to feel them in your body, and that will slowly heal. You're going to infuse that part of your body with those emotions, with those feelings, with that deep understanding, and that will heal that part of that body. That's how you heal yourself. By the way, next weekend I am teaching a class on self-healing. I strongly suggest you guys to check it out, to sign up. I made it really, really available for everyone so that everyone can participate in that. I'm going to go deep into this process of healing the self, and we're going to talk about it's part of a human toolkit, is that you know how to heal yourself. That's basic 101. Okay, we should have this information available to us, readily available, and we should be practicing it constantly. That way we have a deep connection, and that's how we create empowerment for ourselves, that we recognize what our human potential and power is. Okay. Maria, thank you so much. Lauren, Shala Noor, Aldine, thank you so much. So much love to you. Angela, Brave Soul, thank you so much. Brave Seal, thank you for that super chat. So much love to you. So great to see you. Victoria, thank you. What is the opposite of overwhelm? Can appreciation be the shortcut as the opposite of lower density emotion? I feel I spent more time intellectualizing versus embodying. Yeah. So, I mean, You see, the thing about feeling these emotions, it's not about intellectualizing, it's about using your intuition to understand what is in your body. Okay. So if you feel overwhelmed and you sit with overwhelm, you need to acknowledge the emotions that are in the overwhelm. If you don't acknowledge that, and that's not intellectualizing, it might seem like a form of intellectualizing, but that's actually reading your body. You need to get to know yourself. And we have to learn how to use both the intellect and the creative mind, because you're both. It's just like good and bad. Both, you are everything. So, there is no one over the other. The thing is maintaining balance between the two. So you need to use that awareness, that intellectual part of you, to begin to list out those emotions in order to understand, what are you storing there? What have you been suppressing? What are you ignoring? Okay. And from there, beginning to dig into those layers of yourself to uncover what's the opposite. What does the opposite of that look like? Do I even know what that feels like? Am I familiar with the opposite of overwhelm? Have I ever felt that? Have I seen that, an example of that somewhere? Okay. So what this work does is it helps you dispel the confusion. You have to remember that we are deeply socially engineered. We are deeply conditioned. Our concept of peace is whatever we were shown in films, in stories, and that's only this much of the truth. What peace is a very complex way of being, way of seeing, way of understanding, perceiving. The deeper you understand it, the more you'll be able to employ it in your life, to embody it. Okay. The least you understand it, when an opportunity comes up where peace is necessary, or we need to recognize peace and we need to identify and embody peace and share the peace, you won't know how to get there. You won't really know, because as I said, peace is multidimensional. All things are multidimensional. We have to know all sides of it in order for us to actually embody these things. Just like happiness, you have to understand all parts of it. Okay. So this is extremely important. The less that we are connected with ourselves and our true emotions, the more we are blind. And this is why we have such strong people that are so strongly stuck in one way of thinking without the ability to see the other. We are in for destruction. Okay, self-destruction, collective destruction, in any time. That is how this system collapses, when we go out of balance. Okay, so great to see you. Nico says violet. Awesome. My color was opalescent pink, green, and rose and gold. That's amazing. Maria says, hi Geraldine, thank you. Been sitting with multiple mutilate in bloodline by my higher self. What emotionally still running? So Maria, please clarify that question, but I think you're saying that you have experiencing mutilation in your bloodline by your higher self, and what is emotionally still running? Can you clarify that, because I don't want to misunderstand your question, please? Okay, thank you so much, Maria. Let's see, we have Antonio. Is the trigger necessarily linked to the first memory of the emotion, or are we looking for a trend for the trigger rather than an exact point in time? That's exactly right, Antonio. Here's the thing. Most of our programming is solidified by the age of 7. Okay, the core belief systems that run your subconscious mind, the way you see yourself and the way you see the world outside of you, was mostly defined till the age of 7. This is huge, and it goes way deeper into that, because within that construct is inherited belief systems through your ancestral lineage, which is why you even incarnated in that bloodline to begin with. Remember that. Remember that every soul that incarnates into a bloodline is designed inside out to transcend the limitations of the bloodline that have not been transcended. So guess what your programming is going to be from the birth into the age of 7? the inheritance of all of these limiting belief systems of your ancestry. Okay. So what we really want to get to, we want to get to the root. Okay. Because even though all emotions are necessary, important, we want to understand which ones are really running this construct of our belief system, because that's actually where you're going to begin to understand why you attract the people you do, the events you do, the experiences that you have, and why we have repetitive patterns. All the repetitions that you're going to notice in your life until you reach the root of that program, they're just going to be repeated over and over and over again. Same thing. But the thing is that they seem different to us until we start looking deep within. They're like, oh no, that was a different thing. But actually, let's say insecurity is the theme. That was an example of insecurity in one way. That was an example of insecurity at work. That was an example of insecurity with my partner. That was an example of insecurity with my family. That's an example of insecurity with my ability to complete my artwork. Okay. So as you can see, it permeates every part of ourselves into our pure creation. So we want to access the root cause. And it's not necessarily about the specific memory, but the programming that we received as a result of that memory. And to alchemize that, we need to put ourselves in the shoes of the other participants of that memory. Okay. And you'll notice, as I said, because this programming, you're not alone in the programming. If you have this programming, mother and father have the programming, and they've contributed to creating that programming. Our siblings, our family, our extended family, our community, our culture has the programs. So they're all participating to sustain this construct of belief, which we grew up in. So we have to learn to put ourselves in their shoes to understand, how did they end up with that programming to begin with? How does the human race end up with this belief system that we have to exist in survival and there's nothing more? Well, there's many parts to that. So that will help us move out of victimization. The more that we understand that, we begin to employ into our lives the opposite. That's how we learn to create the new human. Okay. Healing ourselves is so needed. Thank you, Geraldine, for making that class available. Yes, thank you. I really hope to see you there. I think it's so important that we do that now. Questions in capital letters, please. Thank you so much for your amazing comments, guys. Inga says, all my life, I love the most green color. That's beautiful. Deep, deep color. So also, and I guess I should teach a class on this, but the colors that you're choosing for your healing are telling you which one of your chakras is in most imbalance. Okay. What your body needs the most. Okay. So green, for example, deep feeling of worthiness, deep feeling of self-love, deep feeling of love, of unconditional love. In an example. Okay. And this goes deeper. Okay. But every color that you're choosing, if you have many colors, each one of those colors is telling you something about what you need subconsciously. The body has such an incredible intelligence. So Illy says, so after finding our mainly daily emotions, we identify the opposite, then perhaps put a timer on the phone throughout the day, 5 minutes to feel the new emotion we want to embody. So it doesn't have to be so structured like that. Once you understand the opposite and you feel it in your body, you're already programming it. But remember how neural pathways work. In order to create a new neural pathway, we have to stop reinforcing the old one. Okay, so that's why we're doing that. So if the old programming was feelings of unworthiness, and you catch yourself feeling unworthy 10 times a day, can you be conscious enough to remember yourself and interrupt that unworthy pattern in that moment? What would be the opposite of that? Worthiness. Okay, so you look at the formula that you designed for yourself by looking at that memory. Okay, so for you, let's say it was, you need acceptance, acknowledgement, you need connection with yourself, and you need communication. with yourself from yourself. Okay, so your formula is, in order to alchemize unworthiness, as soon as it comes up, let's say you're on social media, something triggers the feeling of unworthiness. Immediately, you begin to acknowledge yourself, you accept yourself, you begin to listen to yourself. So acknowledge the emotion, connect with yourself, what is needed in that moment. Listen to what's needed. Maybe in this moment, you shouldn't even be on social media, okay? Opening that dialogue is the embodiment of presence. That's the connection of the mind, body, and soul in the now. So that's how you would begin to alchemize that, okay? Temporary states leads to permanent states of being. Yeah, essentially, the more that we reinforce something, it becomes our personality, okay? It becomes who we are. Illy says, LOL, men in my lifetime keep letting me down. I thought I healed it by acknowledging, forgiving, and embodying being supported by the masculine, but keeps happening. Okay, but did you heal your masculine? Are you an embodiment of a supporting masculine in your body, in yourself, in your life? Are you a supporting masculine? Are you the provider of yourself? Are you the protector of yourself? With no matter what happens? Are you able to hold stillness for yourself? To be mindful, observant of wisdom for yourself. Okay, so that's the healed masculine. So we need to embody that. If we embody that, you know, we won't be in resonance, and we'll be able to recognize in the masculine if they're able to embody that immediately. Okay, so these are the things that we have to be aware of. How do we know what each color represents for healing? So the way I learned this was working with my emotions, first getting to know the emotions. And well, the way I learned it was really when my abilities became very active after my contact experience in 2013, when my psychic abilities came online and I saw the bodies full of colors. And the way I learned to understand those colors was by observing, sitting with my clients and seeing the emotions that they felt. For example, somebody filled with the color red, eventually I learned that those are ranges of a certain frequency of color, let's say of survival. Okay, which is why our root chakra is in a constant state of like survival, red. It's a red. That's the home. You know, when our root chakra is in a constant state of survival, all we see is red, and all we need is red because it provides safety. Okay, so every single one of the chakras is a frequency library of information that helps us understand, and we can balance that. We can balance in the body. So get familiar with the chakras. So later on, I realized, oh, they have chakra charts. The chakra charts have all of them, and it's right there. Then the emotions, the organs that are connected, everything that I was already seeing in the body is right there. So you can, that's why I strongly advise you use the chakra chart as a reference, but first connect with your body. Make a list of your chakras with your colors that you see there, with the colors that you see in your meditation, and start from there. It's going to tell you exactly what you need. And then get familiar with the emotional color ranges, okay? Peter Carr, thank you so much for that super chat. You are so sweet. Love you, Peter. Thank you. It's so sweet of you. It's so generous. Thank you. Maria says, does that mean for wounded feminine, I need to embody opposite emotions? Okay, so yes, so take a look at the chart. It's not just the emotions, it's the construct of belief, okay? Emotions are the outcome. They are the projection of our beliefs, okay? The emotions already are the bioelectrical charge of creation, okay? So what we want to look at is the belief system, the core beliefs that is causing us to feel those emotions. That's what we want to address. So, for example, if we hold a lot of programs of wounded feminine, let's say insecurity, let's say mistrust in our intuition, okay, that's a huge one for the wounded feminine. Let's say shame and guilt of our sexuality, fear of creation. We don't feel like we can be creative or that we can trust our creation. Those are examples of wounded feminine. To heal that, what would be the opposite, right? To be very certain with ourselves, connected with ourselves, not certain with what you know, certain with the connection of yourself, okay? And cultivate that divine, very strong connection to your intuition, listening to your intuition, honoring that intuition at all times. Okay, so that's really, really important, and we want to cultivate that. So how? Practice intuition every moment of your day. What should I eat today? What should I drink? What is it that's most important for me right now? Follow that intuition. Is this person in alignment with me? Follow that intuition. Is this project in alignment with me? Don't get distracted with the illusions of what things are. Get down to what is good for you. That and listening to that would be an example of listening and healing the wounded feminine. That's one example. Okay, and there's so many, but yes, essentially we want to embody the program. We have to deprogram the imbalanced program of the feminine and replace it with a harmonic balance of that. Okay. Liza says, what if you see a blend of colors? Yes, so every color, as I mentioned, the colors that you see are going to tell you the different parts of you that require healing. Green can be your heart, red is the root chakra, sacral, orange, for example. But it's not so simple. When I say chakra, I think of very complex spheres of libraries of information, okay? And they have duality. So you have to get to know the dualistic nature of your energy system, of your emotions. You can either learn the chakra system through the duality of emotions, or you can learn it through the duality of energy, contraction or expansion. Okay. This is how you're going to learn, and you're going to understand what those colors mean specifically to you. Okay. Love says, hi, Geraldine. I noticed that my body was stiff during meditation and I kept hearing the word movement. It seems that I could benefit from doing some type of movement, such as yoga before meditation. Absolutely. So I can easily remove stagnant and energy with my spheres. Yeah. Yeah. Movement is extremely important. And I think more so now than ever, this is for everybody. Remember that the form of healing, it's not just sitting in meditation, but it's actively moving. And I think as we go more into the feminine energy, movement is going to be part of our healing. Okay, because this is something that we're balancing in our body. We are learning how to embody the healed masculine. The masculine represents that movement. Okay. So take a look at that. What I notice is that when I do yoga, when I do exercise, especially yoga, because you're very connected to yourself, sometimes emotions come up in yoga. Certain poses will allow you to express certain kind of emotions that are trapped in your body based on the movements, the muscles that are being contracted and expanded. Your body is so beautiful, so intelligent. It holds so much information at such a deep level, and we ignore that. So really, there's so many ways of accessing this information. Okay. Illy, thank you so much for that super chat. You guys are amazing. Love you. Guys, it was such an honor to be here with you guys, and I want to wish you an incredible week. Please get ready for some major changes in this world. And this was designed since the beginning. The many ages throughout history have been talking about this time because of the potential that is available to us as a human race. And it has nothing to do with who's in power, who's out of power. No, you are the power. You are the center of creation. That is what it's about. So this is where the focus has to be. And that's where the change for this world is coming. Okay. Really quickly, Illy says, do you recommend movement during transmutation of emotions? Somatic therapy is really popular now. Yes, I do. Do what needs to do. But I really want to say that see how you work, okay? See how what's best for you. But doing the emotional alchemy, nothing can replace that kind of shadow work, okay? That shadow work is essential. And we support it with exercise and physical movement. They were supporting that with many things. But your belief systems are at the core of all creation. And that's why working in the belief systems in the subconscious mind is really getting to the root of things. Okay. So yes, use all necessary things. Antonio says chair pose makes me cry. Totally. Antonio says, or bridge pose. Yeah, absolutely. And I can share so many stories about that, going to yoga and certain emotions making me feel like crying or like expressing certain poses, I mean. So in the same way, it's telling you exactly. And if you study yoga, you'll see that some poses are heart opening, sacral opening, you know, different chakras are opening in the body. It's very interesting. Okay. So what I used to do is I used to do yoga first thing in the morning. Well, I used to meditate for an hour, but yoga, and then I would go into another meditation. But everything that was expressed and released during that yoga, I took into my shavasana. Okay, so my shavasana, I would notice the emotions that came up, sat with them, integrated them. Super powerful, super powerful. So you keep moving during the day, really nice and fluid. Okay. Okay, guys, I love you so much. Lisa says, thank you for reminding us of being beyond. Yes, can't wait to sign up for your healing. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. If you guys want to join the class, let me put it here in the chat. And in case you guys want to check it out, it'd be really fun to share with all of you. Cosmic Joe says, I feel like I don't matter. Okay, really important about that. Okay. That energy is coming up a lot right now. Okay. These deep, deep, deep feelings of we don't matter. It's like this little emotional black hole. And I think it has a lot to do with the Plutonic energy, Mars energies that are in our cosmic realms. So I want you to remember that. Okay. These kinds of deep celestial movements are enhancing the deep shadows that have not been addressed. So what does that mean when we have these strong feelings like I don't matter? It means that we've been battling unworthiness for a very, very long time. Very long time. So what's happening now is that those little tiny seeds of beliefs are getting to the depths and the darkness of those parts. Okay? So when we believe that we're unworthy for a long time, eventually it gets to this deep feeling of like, you know, I don't matter. I don't matter, or I'm unworthy, or I have no purpose. Okay, I've been tuning into that emotion myself. Okay, and I have calls from people all week about this. So please understand, and I think it will intensify in the next couple of weeks. Okay, as we go in, but then we'll have an opening at the end of this month, a big, big opening. Okay, so tomorrow is a wonderful opening for this, but it's step one. I think it's on the 15th that we're moving astrologically into another energetic phase. But towards the end of this month, things are going to open up more. But I want you to trust yourself in this moment. I want you to stay grounded. That's why I'm so adamant about telling you to come into the basics. Love yourself. Focus on self-love. Do whatever you need to do to come back into your body and to nourish yourself. Cut off your connection to anything that triggers emotions and feelings of unworthiness and disconnect from yourself, whether that's watching films or movies or TVs or social media or distractions. Go into nature, connect with yourself. You need to recognize the love that is abundantly around you, in and around you, in these natural patterns of the universe. You need to recognize that it's here, it is here. And we are so valuable. Every single one of you is designed to exist in this world and to hold powerful space. So immediately alchemize that immediately in your connection with your source. and embody this this empowered state, this wisdom, you'll see it's going to feel gooey for a minute, but then you're going to move right through and your reconnection will be there again. And ask the universe to show you, to confirm with you, to show you a sign. Connect, because the reflection of this world is there for you. Open your heart. Don't forget to open your heart. Your heart chakra. Remember that you're going to be move your root, your sacral, your solar into 6 inches wide, your heart a little wider, throat and third eye. Okay, so we went from looking like a martini glass to a glass of water like this. This is how your energetic body should be at all times. So if you start feeling those emotions, more than likely you're starting to look like this. Root, sacral, solar, wide open, out of balance. Okay, so start working with your body. Okay, all right, guys, I love you so much, and I hope you have an incredible week. I put the link in the chat, and if you guys want to sign up, it's on the website. And yeah, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye, my loves.